Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Pest Control, an actual play podcast with Q Times. I'm your GM, Sam. I use he, him pronouns, and this week we are beginning our new season. We are going to be returning to Monster of the Week by Michael Sands and Evil Hat Productions. We are going to be playing a sequel to our series Pest Control, which was made as a live stream for Q Times in 2019. To that end, although this is going to be a sequel, this is also a great time to hop on board. There are going to be things from the first season that are relevant to this second season, but they are going to be sort of the setting. Like a lot of the stuff from the first season that we are including just pertains to the fact that this is a world where people know that monsters, or as some of them prefer to be known, myriads, exist in the world. That is just a thing that is known. If you would like to go back and listen to that first season for some additional context, and because I think it is genuinely a great story, you can find that at bit.ly/fight the monsters, which is capital F, capital T, and capital M. Capital letter at the beginning of each That's one right. of those
FTM,
words.
FTM, baby.
FTM. Faster than...
Mail.
Mail. Faster than mail.
All right.
Most things are. So I am going to stop talking now and let my cast introduce themselves and the characters that they are going to be playing this season.
Hello, I'm William White, they, them, and I am playing Kelly Aberdeen, he, him. He is the Crooked.
Hello, my name is Jonas, pronouns they, them, generally, and I am playing Rabbit, pronouns he, they, or she, depending. I would say in his most, I don't want to say his most canonical form, but probably his most recurring form. He will be mostly using he, him pronouns. But Rabbit is one of many appearances and sort of personas, as we will sort of explore through the story. So that will definitely be changing. And Rabbit is the Shapechanger, which is a new custom homebrew playbook that Sam and I have been sort of collaborating on, and Sam has formatted in the Monster of the Week playbook form.
Yeah, if you want to know more about that, we did some character vignettes that you can go and listen to. They will be up in the feed before this episode goes live. I'm not exactly sure whether they'll be before the Grounded Self game or after the Grounded Self game, but they will introduce you to these characters in a little bit more detail and into their stats and their moves. The Shapechanger is something that Jonas and I came up with because we didn't really feel like the monstrous was appropriate for their character, even though that was sort of our next best option.
That was kind of the foundation for it, yeah.
Yeah, so we decided to build something slightly different, and I'm really happy with how it came out. I'm really, really excited to play with it this season and see, what works and what doesn't too.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely open to changing it as we sort of play, because we're playtesting it basically with this as well. So it's subject to change, but just since it is a new thing, just kind of the core part of Shapechangers, as you would guess, changing your physical appearance and basically building relationships with people / calling on past established relationships. So there'll be some moves relevant to that.
My name's Sam Darr. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm playing the character Nammi, who uses she, her pronouns, and the Divine Playbook.
Okay, so let me explain quickly a little bit about how this game works. If you're already familiar with Monster of the Week, you can go ahead and skip ahead. I won't hold it against you. But for those of you new to the game, Monster of the Week is a powered by the Apocalypse game system, It uses 2 6-sided dice for every roll in the game, no more d20s, with a 1 to 6 indicating a failure, a 7 to 9 indicating a mixed success, and a 10 plus indicating a full success. In this game, there are 5 stats: charm, cool, sharp, tough, and weird. Every hunter has access to 8 basic moves which use those stats. There's Kick Some Ass, which uses tough, Act Under Pressure, which uses cool, Help Out, which uses cool, Investigate a Mystery, which uses sharp, Manipulate Someone, which uses charm, Protect Someone, which uses tough, Read a Bad Situation, which uses sharp, and Use Magic, which uses weird, but might be swapped out for an alternative move for some of the players depending on how they've built their characters. In addition, hunters also have special moves based on their playbook, which only they have access to, and we'll get to those when they come up in play. Each of the hunters has 7 harm boxes on their character sheet, which is basically their health. Once they mark the 4th box, they're considered unstable, and they'll continue to take additional harm even from rolls they might otherwise succeed on or not take any harm from as they begin to bleed out. The other resource they have at their disposal is luck. All of the hunters will start with 7 points of luck, which they can spend to turn a failed roll into an automatic 12 or heal harm. However, the more luck they use, the closer they grow to being doomed. And if they ever run out, I can take a hard move against them whenever I want. Success, failure, just walking down the road, whenever I want. So it's bad. The last thing is experience. In Monster of the Week, every time you roll a failure, a 1 to a 6, you mark a point of experience. Once you've marked all 5 boxes, you level up and you can take a stat increase, a new playbook move, or something special from your class like gaining an ally or buffing your magical abilities. This season, I'm also adapting the bonds mechanic from other Powered by the Apocalypse games and combining it with the beliefs system from Blades in the Dark games like Beam Saber. We're going to keep calling them beliefs just for clarity. A belief is a brief statement about how a hunter feels about another hunter. Beliefs are simple, quick, and influential in the rapport between the two. However, the players need to remember that their beliefs are not necessarily true, as they're based on incomplete information and gut instinct. At the end of each arc, the players will check in on their beliefs. If they think the belief is resolved, either because their character's perspective has changed, or it was proved or disproved, they'll strike it out, write a new one, and gain a point of experience. So, will y'all tell me what your starting beliefs are?
For Nammi, Kelly believes Nammi seems sweet, but is too soft and naive to do what's necessary. For Rabbit is almost definitely a demon, but seems completely unimportant. Then Norfork, the community. This town could never save itself, so I must. And then finally, the capital T, capital C city. The city has a hunger that will not be satiated with just Norfork.
For beliefs, for Rabbit, Kelly is far from unlocking his full potential and needs to start acting now to make the most of his life, no matter what it is he chooses to do. And then belief for Nammi. Nammi is more like me, Rabbit, than anyone else in town. From Norfork, the town is stronger than the city and deserves the power the city seems to hold. And then for the city has more to offer than many believe, and we should give it some time.
Nammi believes for Kelly that Kelly and Rabbit should totally hook up because they'd be such a power couple. And then for Rabbit, that Rabbit's been around forever and people need to lay off their case. As far as Norfork is concerned, she thinks that their town has a seed of power inside of it that she needs to help cultivate. And the city, something dark is brewing in the city, and Nammi needs to be there to help fix it this time around.
Before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the basis for this season. If you haven't yet, you should go listen to our Zero session where we played The Ground Itself by Everest Pipkin to get a little bit more context on all of this. But basically, this season is an alt history world where in late 2019, the world was shown irrefutable proof that cryptids and other types of monsters exist in the world alongside humans. Many of the non-humans preferred to be called myriads. Many myriads have chosen to take their masks off and now live in their preferred forms, but some of them have chosen to remain hidden, kind of worried about how revealing themselves might affect the lives they've already built for themselves in a world that's dominated by humans already. Tensions occasionally flare as society learns to adapt or offers resistance to the incorporation of non-humans, but so far things have remained mostly peaceful. This season, we're picking up in the summer of 2022, which is coincidentally when we are recording this. This season is going to be entirely set in Norfork, which is a town somewhere in the US that is quickly being swallowed whole by the rapid expansion of a neighboring city, and which has plenty of secrets of its own. This season is going to be exploring the dynamic between those two places, as well as the dynamic between myriads and society at large. With that comes a warning. We will be getting into topics surrounding police and police violence. So if those topics are something that you find upsetting, please take care of yourself. You can always step away, stop listening, and you can always check the content warnings in the episode description before you listen.
Good morning, Norfork,
says the voice over the radio, blasting from the radio alarm clock you bought with every intention of disabling the radio feature. The voice is deep and frenetic, and you wonder idly if people like this can find any other career path, or whether the powers that be select them for shock jock radio ship as soon as they develop Adam's apples.
It's beautiful, clear skies out there again. Not a cloud in sight, but you might wish there was something blocking the sun. Highs today are climbing into the triple digits, and lows aren't much better. I fried eggs on the hood of my neighbor's car today, and let me tell you, he was not happy. So if you see an irate 50-something in cargo shorts and a polo, you can tell him not to find me. The big story today is the same old from the last few months. Big shots on Pennsylvania Avenue are working hard to come up with an answer that will get them reelected. And who knows, they might even have a good idea or two. Yesterday evening, we heard testimony from Professor Thomas Wessler, a community college professor who was amongst those aboard the HMS Marionette when things went sideways 2 summers ago. He claims to have met Keeley Stewart and is one of the public faces of the Myriad Freedom Movement. But he is also a vampire. I'm sure he'll fit right in on Capitol Hill. No, I'm just kidding. We all know those guys are lizard people. I mean, someone tells me monsters are real. I say, yeah, I know, I see the news too. Professor Wessler gave a rousing speech yesterday about the state of the movement to recognize public-facing myriads like himself. Here's an excerpt. Yes, I do believe that we can coexist within human communities. Less than a year ago, I was human. My condition, which I remind you, Senator, was the only way I'm sitting in front of you today, is not a curse. It did not make me forget that murder is wrong or that I should be respectful of my neighbor. I'm the same person I was before the change, except now I buy stronger sunscreen. Alrighty, folks, it's time for Fork Talk. Real citizens, real questions, my answers. How do you feel about Professor Wessler's testimony? How do you feel about the Myriad Freedom Movement? Call in now and let's chat. Ooh, looks like we have our first caller. Hello?
Another voice, muffled by the static of cell phone distortion, joins the radio DJs. The voice belongs to a young woman.
Hello. Hey, you're on Fork Talk. Real questions, questionable answers. What's your name? I'm Sheila. She, her. Hey, Sheila, so what do you think about all of this Myriad stuff? I don't know. You don't know. Well, ma'am, I hate to break it to you, but this is an opinion show. I don't know. I don't feel like I really get a say. Oh, okay. Why is that? Not well enough informed? I'm already dead. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you caught me off guard. So you're a myriad then, or just a ghost? I'm not sure. But you're dead. Mm-hmm. What, got some unfinished business? Someone not treat you right? Something like that. Sorry for making it weird. I was just tired of being alone. Well, sure. Yeah, listen, something bad is happening in Norfork. Things are changing. There's these places that people shouldn't go, and they're going there. You mean like break-ins? No, not exactly. It's just everyone listening, you need to stay away. Don't come here. Don't walk through any doors you don't already know. Stay away. Stay away from where? Norfork? Are you telling people to leave?
But static has filled the other end of the line.
Sheila?
The static fills the call, getting louder and louder until the host's voice is drowned completely. You slap at the alarm, trying every button to get it to turn off, but nothing seems to be working. You rip the cord from the wall, but the static continues unabated. You cover your ears, squeezing your eyes closed against the wall of electronic snow until you feel as though you might melt into it, lose yourself in the static, and never know anything else again. And then you wake up. Kelly, your alarm clock is blaring.
Begrudgingly, immediately get up and like hit it. And if that wasn't clear, that like Kelly literally has an alarm clock. I know most people use their phones, but Kelly, he's like, I gotta use my phone the least amount possible. I don't want people tracking me. I don't want like you
can't
know
have the fuzz knowing what time you wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
Kelly, I have a question for you. Is there someone else in the bed with you? Does she usually sleep over?
Oh, if there's going to be any like kind of sleeping over, it's not at my place. It's at her place.
Okay, great.
She has never been to my place and
Excellent.
won't.
Excellent. I think what we see, what the camera sees, is just the other side of the bed. Like we see Kelly's side that he sleeps on, and then we see this kind of like, untouched other side. What does Kelly's place look like? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so it is a non-legal like second floor area of the Cheapskate, the roller rink / dive bar or whatever that Kelly works at.
Yeah.
And so he's working there and then just sleeps above it. It is not supposed to be an apartment, and so it looks like that. It's I think the way that I would describe it is like there is definitely a support beam just in the worst possible place that is like breaking up any kind of genuine space that he could have.
Yeah.
It is making it impossible to like the bed is like kind of taco folded a little bit. Like just because there's really...
Is it a Murphy bed or is it like a...
Or there's no frame. It's just like
there's no frame.
On the
It's
floor.
just a mattress on the floor. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It doesn't have sheets, but it has like a blanket that's like barely covering any of it. There are 3 pillows, like 2 of them hard as a rock, and the other one is like so flat you wouldn't even notice it was there. There's some like stains on... It's hardwood floor too. It's like it's like all hardwood floor, which would be nice, except... I mean, in the summer, it's nice, but then in the winter, it's like so cold and there's no heat up there. There's no heat, no AC, anything like that. But there is like one big like window that I'm doing this. This is this is not a visual podcast.
It like
but
rotates up?
Rotates up, yeah. So like it's a huge window and Kelly can just take it like from the bottom and push it up.
Sure.
Like up and out from the bottom.
I see. So the hinge is on the top of it.
Yes, yeah, that kind of thing. So there's one huge window that he uses for purposes to escape into the night.
This is like the end of like Jamie's outro in season 1 that I re-listened to the other day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, interesting.
And then there's a card table that's like I don't know if we have IKEA.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like the cheapest IKEA foldable card table that you could get, and it has like a freaking tablecloth, but like a plastic one, just like a bad like vinyl plastic one or whatever.
Yeah.
Over the top of it, it's stained to absolute hell. There's just there's the only thing on it is like a toaster and a coffee like pot, and the kind that you would find in like a 90s office video where they're trying to tell you about the coffee, like the office room or whatever, the break room.
This is well and truly like somebody's disused attic.
Yes, very much so. Oh, and I do want to say also that the alarm clock is like one of those old, like the Black Cat cartoon alarm clocks.
Yeah.
Of course.
What does Kelly look like?
So Kelly, he has brown skin. It's not like quite shoulder length hair, but it's just short of that, like coiffed sort of to one side, a little bit curly. It would kind of be like the old Justin Bieber hair, but curly,
Okay.
or like a really, I don't know, like hot K-pop person, like star, but curly, like that kind of thing. It's like, it looks better than it should. I'll say that.
Yeah, it seems like Kelly's a mess except for his hair a little bit. Or like you described the house and the hair are very contrasting.
Yeah, he has like deep bags under the eyes. The eyes look tired.
Yeah.
No matter what. He's, I think 5'2" is what I decided. Like very short, and he also is like pretty thin. But like he's walking around like you know shirtless, and has like had top surgery, so like just very shredded, just like extremely. I'm thinking like Bruce Lee kind of shredded, like where you can see like every muscle of a muscle of a muscle, like but
it's like lean muscle,
but like lean, yeah, that kind of thing, and covered in bruises and like cuts, like has scars all over the place, and generally when he is up in his quote unquote apartment, he is definitely only wearing like sort of baggy gym shorts.
Love it. It is already getting hot in here. You mentioned there's no AC, and like right now it is summer in Norfork, and it is like hot. Like even though your dream like didn't seem to make very much sense, there is like a heat wave going on in Norfork right now. What time does Kelly usually wake up? Like what's your alarm set for?
If I'm not working, it's like 4 p.m.
Okay. I would say today is a Saturday. Does Kelly usually work Saturdays?
I think so. I think Kelly is usually doing night stuff during the week. Mm-hmm. But on the weekends, it's like very much like this is my time to work. So this would be early then. This would be like, I mean, Kelly just got like 2 hours of sleep, I would say. And it's like 8 a.m.
Gotcha. It is already hot in here then. So wait, sorry. So it is currently 8 a.m. or 4 p.m.?
It's 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Okay, great. So even though it is only 8 a.m., it is really already very, very hot in here.
I mean, he's immediately pushing the freaking rotating window thing I was talking about open. It's just like, boo.
What can you see like through that window? Does it face more of Norfork? Does it face the city? Like, can you see the skyscrapers off in the distance? What do you see? Or is it like is it like apartment building right there? Like,
no, I actually think that the view is like immaculate. It's like the one saving grace of the apartment, and it doesn't point towards the city. Like it is maybe the best it could be, and maybe that's also why Kelly isn't really trying to find a new place to live, because I work here, I get it pretty cheap because it's technically illegal, and I don't need much, and also like open that window, that huge window, and you can just see the community, the neighborhood of Norfork. And I mean, you see like, I don't know, kind of like a Central Park area or whatever, and you see benches, and you can see for a while because there are no taller, not even like 2-story buildings blocking the view from where it is.
I can totally imagine, just based on where I have a little map I need to send to you guys of like basically where I think everything is laid out in Norfork. And based on what you're describing, it sounds like Kelly's apartment window is facing like east. You could see like the river, and you could see like some of the suburb kind of areas, and you could see the Turntable Shopping Center kind of in the distance. Mm-hmm. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Cool. Well, Kelly, there is a knock at your door. Is the door, I'm trying to picture your apartment space because you said it's up on the 2nd floor. And I know we had talked privately off mic about Kelly not even having a bathroom up here.
Right.
Like he has to go downstairs to use the bathroom.
Yeah, he has to use like the public bathroom. Yeah.
Which, is there a shower in there? Like,
no,
where does he shower?
He takes like sink showers or goes to like the local gym.
Gotcha. Okay.
Has a membership for like $10 a month at like Infinity Fitness.
Great. I need to write down Infinity Fitness. Okay. Is the door up to your quote unquote apartment? Is it at the top of the stairs or at the bottom of the stairs? Like, do you have to go down the stairs to the door, or do you come up the stairs to the door?
I think you have to go down the stairs, and so the door's at the bottom of the stairs because like if this wasn't meant to be an apartment, if it was just supposed to be like an attic space, like there would not be a door up at the top. So like, yeah.
Totally.
And there are definitely times where Kelly has come home really late, very tired, and like trips over like a ledge that almost falls them down the stairs. Like he just has almost like taken a deathly tumble like several times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's at the bottom, and I don't think it's a very sturdy door. It's like when you knock on it, it kind of like bows in a little bit, and the inside of it is not a sturdy material. It's like the door could just like snap at any moment.
Well, someone is knocking on the door, and they are knocking solidly, which based on what you just said about the door means the door is like rattling in its like position.
Yeah. Kelly, hand on the head, is just like, oh, like 2 hours of sleep. Had a very busy night, and it's just like, hey, you're going to break the door.
Yeah, we just want to talk to you for a second, Mr. Aberdeen. At this point, he continues talking, but you've already recognized the voice, Kelly. It is Detective Ripley Adams.
I got you. You've been tricked. This is a voice recording, and Kelly can't come to the door right now, so please leave a message on a piece of paper and tape it to the door. I'll see you later, loser.
Miss Colbert said that you'd be up there, that usually you kind of sleep in.
And Colbert is my boss.
Colbert is your boss, Joni Colbert.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, because then I don't, as much as I don't want to talk to Ripley Adams, I also don't want to get Joni in trouble, because again, this is a pretty slick situation and also illegal.
It's a good situation.
All right. So again, begrudgingly, on the other side of the door, then Ripley Adams would start hearing like purposefully like loud footsteps down the stairs, but like so slow, like letting you know, like I'm on my way, but like not saying a peep, and just duh. Like that.
Oh my gosh.
You get to the bottom of the staircase. Do you look out? Is there a peephole, or is it just like
there is a chain lock and a deadbolt that has been like crudely attached by Kelly. So like deadbolt gets unlocked, and it's like the door is kind of bending around where the deadbolt is, because this door definitely cannot handle having a deadbolt. And then so like Kelly unlocks the deadbolt and cracks the door, like barely has enough room to like the side before hitting his face against the wall, and like can just barely see through the crack with like the chain still attached. And it's just like, okay, yeah, what do you want?
You see two people standing outside in the hallway of the Cheapskate. There is Detective Ripley Adams, who you know well. And we'll get to why in a second, because I think it's worth setting that up. The other person you see is new to you. She's also a police officer. She's a white woman with short hair, like short blonde hair, like a pixie cut, I'm picturing. And she is chewing gum, but she is like grinding her teeth on the gum. And Detective Ripley Adams looks at you with absolutely no recognition. Do you want to say why you know him?
Yeah. So Detective Ripley Adams, almost killed me.
Oh.
What?
As not the me that you see before you, but the me that is the cryptid.
Because Kelly has an alter ego. He is a vigilante known as the Cryptid.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
And you were late at night sneaking into the city's police headquarters to look into the death of someone in Norfork, right? A kid from Norfork named, he actually has a name now. We called him the Prodigal Son
yeah.
in the Ground Itself game. His name is Jimmy Domal. It's Domal.
Domal. Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm. And that's of the Domal family.
Who formerly owned a bar called the Stinky Walrus.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited to get to at some point. But that was Sam's creation. I'm very excited to see where it's at now. So Ripley Adams kind of peers in through the crack in the door with no recognition at all and says, Kelly, Aberdeen?
Yeah, that's me. What of it?
All right, so look, we're looking for some people.
Okay. Listen, I got work I got to do. This is like one of the
no,
days
no,
that I
and
work,
he puts his hand in the door frame. We're looking for some people to join. The woman standing next to him speaks up. It's a task force. Look, we're trying to start a thing to... Look, there's crimes that are happening that aren't necessarily by the book. There's locked room mysteries, and there's people with green blood, and there's people with whose DNA testing and fingerprints don't work on. So Detective Adams takes over again. We're looking to put a couple people together, and we got a recommendation that you might be helpful, that you might be interested.
Well, and who was that recommendation from?
Ripley Adams pulls out a little paper and flips a couple pages and says, "Oh, it's the community rep, Jillian Murphy."
Huge eye roll. Steps away from the door, just hand on head, no. He just comes back. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Sorry. And then goes to close the door.
He has his hand still on the door, and so he kind of forces it to keep it open. Says, she seemed to know you. Oh. Are you saying you're not interested? Because honestly, that's fine. We'll get moving.
Oh yeah, well yeah, get out of here then. I mean, I'm not in trouble.
No, what is there a reason that you'd be in trouble?
I hate when they ask that.
I'm not gonna answer that question. I plead the fifth.
You're making it, he takes a small step forward, kind of leans into that crack and says, "Making yourself seem suspicious, Mr. Aberdeen."
Oh, that's interesting. You wanted my help a moment ago, and now I'm suspicious? Huh. Wow, seems befitting of your situation and not mine. That's interesting.
I don't want to get into a whole thing. I don't care if you've got an ounce of weed up there or whatever it is. If you're interested in helping, and he pulls out a little flyer or gets it from Officer Sherridan. If you're interested, give us a call. If not, I could give a fuck.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I've been needing more rolling paper. See yourself out. Close the door when you leave. And then Kelly just walks back up the stairs.
After a moment, you hear somebody kind of reach up and close the door.
I want to go over to my mini fridge that I have in the corner that is extremely loud.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a look at the flyer really quick. What does it say? Is it just general information to contact them?
Yeah, it basically says seeking members for a new Myriad task force put together by the city council. Basically, the city council voted and said there's stuff happening that we don't think the police are totally cut out for, and they may need some additional people to get brought in to help them put things together that they might miss, because it's a weird thing about the police. There are no people that are myriads or monsters that are out in the police force at this moment.
So I take this little Snoopy Peanuts magnet and I magnet the flyer to the fridge.
Okay.
And then I open the fridge. Hey, Butch.
The back of the fridge pushes into infinity, and a shadow, way, way, way in the background, rises up. It's the colors all get have you seen that Apple music video where they start moving elements of the apartment and all the colors kind of get banded out? It looks like that. And so from some of the dark colors, this shadow kind of comes together. It is a humanoid shape. It's it had its back to you, and it turns around to face you and says, "What do you need, Kelly?"
I don't know if you could sense it or anything, but we did just get paid a visit.
Yeah, I saw him.
It appears as though they know where I live now, which, wasn't a big secret, la-di-da, but something to keep an eye on.
Detective Adams, if he becomes a greater threat, I can deal with him.
That's good to know. We'll put that on the back burner, for sure. Okay, well, good talking to you as always, Butch. I've got to be going to work now, so you have the apartment all to yourself. Don't go too crazy, okay?
And Butch just stares back at you.
Still no sense of humor. Okay. All right. Okay, Butch. Well, is that milk spoiled?
Definitely yes.
Yeesh, can you take that into infinity with you? Yeah, just like take that to whatever, place you.
I'm not your maid, Kelly.
Well, it'd be pretty nice if you were. I'd get you a little outfit.
You could, even just in this shadowy form, you could see that Butch kind of cracks a smile a little bit.
Okay, see you, buddy. And then Kelly closes the refrigerator.
And as you close the fridge door, you know tonight that you have plans. Rabbit, where are you this Saturday morning?
Honestly, I think this morning he probably is at some 24-hour social venue, whether it's like my immediate first thought was like a barcade type place, even if it's just like skee ball and a couple arcade cabinets. Like he's basically he took his 2-hour moon nap or whatever like 6 hours ago, and he's just been like here with the late crew into the early worms coming in now. If possible, I guess he's playing, I don't know, let's say Joust on an old arcade cabinet.
This is a tabletop role playing game. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
You're playing Joust.
So he's at like, and it's like a dive barcade. So it's like the fancy thing they have there is one of those like short like you've seen those like Pac-Man cabinets where it's like a table that you're playing on the table.
Yeah,
it has
totally.
one of those, but mostly it's just like old games that like they were able to find at flea markets and Craigslist
right.
and
discount stores.
Someone was moving out of town or passed away and it was inherited into this place or whatever.
Do you want to name this place?
Sure, let's call it the Bunker. It's built on an old fallout shelter that was turned into a bar.
Oh.
Whoa!
I love that.
There's not much
That's cool.
there's not much that would like make you think that outside of knowing that, and maybe they have like the I think that wheel from that door is probably up on the wall like as like a centerpiece, but presumably the door is still in place somewhere.
Wow, that's awesome. I really, really, really like
Cool.
that. Jonas, will you describe for us what Rabbit looks like right now? Because
Yeah.
that is liable to change.
Right now, we're looking at Sage Brennan Skip, one of the primary personas of the character who we will most notably call Rabbit. Sage uses she, they pronouns, has a kind of like severe scrutinizing look, and dark eyes, red hair, but very clearly like an unnatural red hair, bottle red, and just a ton of freckles, which are also accentuated by some like stuck on like sparkles and glitter, it appears.
Gotcha.
So basically a number of the freckles are like sparkling. It's a very ethereal look and very, I would say kind of unapproachable. Like this is not somebody who is looking to be approached or spoken to. And she is probably being called over to get back to the bar because even though it's slow, she is on shift right now, technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was scheduled to come in at 10 p.m. Someone had to cover for her and she just kind of walked in at like 3 a.m. and just started working. So it's also, it is a slow morning that we are double like staffed for right now because she doesn't communicate.
So one of your coworkers walks over. This is Raina Germain.
Cool.
Raina Germain is a young woman with her hair back in a ponytail and deep, carefully applied eyeshadow. The end of her ponytail is the only remnant of a passing interest in bleached blonde hair. She's wearing a pair of red pants that ride the line between pants and pajamas on top of a pair of black and white sneakers. And she walks up to you and says,
Oh, hey Raina.
You gotta man the bar. They're gonna fire you.
Y'all good over there? Just calling out to the customers at the bar.
I'm the only other one working.
Sorry, 1 second, Rain. I'm trying to listen.
Can't.
I think the customers are good over there.
I'm trying to get a drink. Can I just want a Bloody Mary?
Yeah, Raina, can you play my game for a second? And she starts walking over. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, and she kind of takes over, but she's not very good at joust.
That's okay. So yeah, I'll walk over to this is I imagine a morning regular. I feel like most people who are here in the mornings probably Sage has seen the last few weeks since she started working here.
This is like an older guy, maybe in his like 50s or so, with kind of like thinning hair.
Cargo shorts?
No cargo shorts. No cargo shorts. He's wearing like a pair of jeans. This is someone who like definitely like retired early kind of thing. He's got some kind of like lines on his face, but he still looks pretty young.
Getting a Bloody Mary at 8 a.m. or whatever time?
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
All right. You're looking for a Bloody Mary? How bloody we talking?
Well, don't put real blood in it.
Oh, okay, right on. She starts making it, and she's kind of just casually chatting as she's doing this. Like, so feel like you've had enough hydration this morning too, have you? Not calling you out or nothing, just checking in with the clientele.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just good to.
That's really
good to
cool.
have
So
some-
anyway, what brings you in this morning? Here is your Bloody Mary. It's really bad, by the way. This is me, Jonas, saying it. It is like the ingredients are there, not super well portioned or mixed. She's kind of checked out. Just kind of slides it towards them.
He picks up the drink and like holds it up to the light, and it's like clear. Like there's no tomato juice or anything in it.
That's a little bit.
And he says
a little bit, but yeah,
a little bit.
You wouldn't
like
know it. You wouldn't
vaguely-
know it.
It's like pink
Yeah.
or like vaguely red. And he says, "Sure, fine. Here's my card." And he puts his card down and says, "Close the tab."
All right, yeah, can do.
You're still working?
Sorry?
You're still going to work here for the next hour or so?
I think so. What time is it? She's wearing a watch. She doesn't want to check it.
It's like 9 a.m., I guess.
Yeah, I'll probably stick around for a little bit.
Okay, definitely close the tab then.
Yeah, for sure. So she's going to turn around with the card and just kind of like zone out at the register for a while. Basically, Sage's whole thing is to do as little work as possible and really only do it if she's asked and usually reminded, which is largely for Rabbit an excuse to just kind of, though it seems like she's completely checked out and not listening, he's actually listening very, very carefully, just like with his back to everyone or, looking out over everyone's heads. So he's basically now people watching and eavesdropping.
And Sage has had a variety of sort of small-time jobs across Norfork, right? Like in my imagining, Sage has worked at like every subway in Norfork. And eventually like the last one was like, no, we heard from all the other franchisees. We are not hiring you.
That was a different Sage Brennan skip. It wasn't me. Yeah. She's worked a lot of places and lost. She's been fired from every job, or it's been just like a no call, no show. They didn't fire me, but like she just kind of stops going when she gets bored of it, and is also really bad about her schedule because she'll always tell them, yeah, just put me on, and then she'll just kind of show up if she feels like it. Because for Rabbit, he's really using Sage to learn these skills and be around people in situations where he can observe. So it's mostly jobs as like she's worked a lot of like counter jobs and host jobs, no office stuff really, although maybe occasionally, but mostly Sage is his
like a temp.
Yeah, exactly. So she's someone where Rabbit can through Sage interact with people, get to know people better without needing to really build any strong connections as much as possible, try to keep people at a distance from Sage.
What's the job that Sage has worked the longest in Norfolk?
Oh, I think there's a bowling alley right by like one of the closest places to the divot that exists.
Yeah.
The divot being a big hole in the ground from a horrible accident earlier in Norfolk's history. And I think because of its like probably its distance from the city proper, or like from like downtown, and also just like its proximity to the divot, it's probably hard to keep people there, I imagine. In my mind, she has been able to keep that job longer because even though she acts the same, they can't fire her because she's like the only person who has been there longer than like a few months because there's just a lot of turnover for various reasons. Whatever reasons make sense to you.
We should talk briefly about the divot.
Sure.
Because the divot is not a divot anymore. The divot is now a business park for a company called Relegated Production Industries that is building the first basically skyscraper in Norfolk.
Wow.
I know what Kelly's doing on the weekdays.
The skyscraper is done. When Relegated Production Industries announced the project, they were like, oh, we're going to be moving in like early spring 2022. And then it kept getting pushed. Like then it was like, oh, we're going to move in late spring. Then we're going to move in early summer. And now it's like, we'll be in the building by the end of the year. But for all intents and purposes, the land has been like landscaped. Like there's now like a little business park there with some like, small office buildings and like just lawn. Like it's just lawn. It's just lawn and cement sidewalks and uncomfortable park benches with that thing in the middle that prevents people from sleeping on them. And people in Norfolk are not happy because, as established in our Ground Itself game, that area was pretty recently a community garden. before the land was sold to the city.
So then I'll detach it from the divot. I'm just gonna say there is there's a bowling alley that is not doing especially well business wise. And so it just has a lot of issues and has a lot of staff turnover because it's like overworking its staff and just not getting a lot of business for whatever reasons makes sense.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
I think it should still be near the divot.
Okay.
But I think it's a bunch the people who go there have started to become like business people.
Oh,
like instead of it being
they take their lunch meetings to the bowling alley.
Exactly. They're like, oh, what's a hip spot to like have a business meeting? Like, let's go get lunch at the bowling alley. And then it's like nobody tips.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Or they tip like, you know, people are tipping like 10% or like
and it's
whatever.
also like some of these are like those business lunches where they'll come and they'll like get 5 drinks each and just kind of like trash their table area or whatever and then just walk out.
And they're not playing bowling. Like, none of them are playing bowling.
Yeah. Maybe the bowling alley even like instituted a policy where like they got like a minor liquor license so people can bring in their own stuff like at karaoke. And so they're not even like selling drinks there as much as they want to.
Yeah.
It's just like
these people are like bringing in their own like Bud Light and being like, let's have our business meeting here.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Can Sage be the assistant manager there, largely in charge of scheduling, and just only go when she wants to? Like, she's been there for long enough that she has a reputation, like she established a reputation with the owner, and just that, like, maybe it's also like a really nice person, the owner, who just like cannot like fire anyone because too many people are quitting.
I like that a lot, and I like that you're the assistant manager just because you've been around the longest.
Yeah.
Like, you're not good at the job, should not be doing it. Everyone else has to like manage their own schedules basically because you never do it.
Yeah.
But you've worked there for like 2 years, and so the person was like, "Well, I guess I have to give her a raise." Like, I guess I have to make her assistant manager. Like,
I imagine that there's like certain things where like everyone still has to ask Sage how it's done. Like, how do we clean out the mop buckets? How do we, what's the combination for this lockbox? The owner doesn't even know. So it's like to fire Sage would mean losing all of that information as well.
Before we get too far away from it, I thought of a name for the bowling alley. What if we call it? What if we call it Critical Roll? Because you know you like roll a ball
oh my
down.
God.
What if we call
like
it
Critical ROLL? You know,
what if we call it
Gutter Punk as a?
Gutter Punk's good. Gutter Punk's good.
It turns out Norfork has a like variety of leisure. There's like a skating, there's like a skating rink and a bunch of dive bars and a bowling alley.
No, see, this makes sense though. I'm from like a really small town, and like my small town didn't have much. But like there was another town nearby that had a movie theater, had a bowling alley that I love to go to all the time. There was like, and it couldn't have been more than a population of like 2,000 people. And
okay, well there you go.
It was like, and the funny thing is like there was this really, really small town that was like a population of like 40 or something like that, where there were 2 bars. There were 2 bars. 2 bars. And then a church right across the street from one of the bars so that everybody could get out of church on Sunday and go right to the bar. Small towns are freaking weird. Let me tell you.
So Gutter Punk, one word. I'm going to call it
Gutter. So we have Gutter Punk and Cheapskate. I kind of love
that's great. Oh my God.
Okay, so Rabbit, do you have a cell phone?
Ooh, does Rabbit have a cell phone? Oh God. I think Rabbit's got to have a cell phone, and I think it's one of those things like his clothing that will change appearance with them. Okay. I think that Sage has like a blue Nokia brick, like old school.
Do you have like different phones that you carry with your different appearances, or do you like swap out the covers on them? You know what I mean?
Rabbit has a family plan.
So I'm imagining that like some of Rabbit's like personal affects, like items, will magically change appearance as he transforms.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I think Rabbit has 2 phones. One of which changes with all of them, and one of which usually changes to be something very small, probably, and discreet, because that is the phone that his family will use to reach him. Everything else is one that like I'm trying to think how this would work, because he would have to have multiple phone numbers, I guess, so that no one's like connecting them.
That's fine.
If he can somehow have multiple phone numbers that are routed to one phone.
I know what it is. You just have you just carry around a couple SIM cards.
Yeah. So he has to swap them.
And you could just swap between the SIM cards.
Yeah, so probably all of his personas have missed calls a lot of the time. The only thing I'm thinking with that now is I'm realizing even if we did that, then like the phone company would probably be like, why do these people... These aren't family. Why are they on like like why are their accounts connected or whatever?
But I think no one at the phone company is cares.
It's more like I'm future proofing against a police investigation.
Sure.
You know, because they would care and they would
Uh-huh.
find out. And that's not just knowing where the arc is going to go. There is definitely something we haven't talked about with Rabbit is he is definitely committed many crimes in the past.
That's true.
It's part of, honestly, his full-time job is whatever is asked of him by his family, which is often criminal. And these other jobs are more of a hobby.
Okay, then Rabbit, your more discreet phone begins to ring.
Sage just like walks out to the back alley. There's like, she was like in the middle of making someone's drink and she just kind of slides it to them as she walks out to the back alley where the trash is. Hey.
Oh, hey, honey. So we were wondering if you wanted to come back to the house for lunch.
Oh God, is it lunchtime already?
Well, in a couple hours. Miss Cold is here, and she, she wants to chat with you over lunch, maybe. And we thought this would be a good opportunity to we could cook you a hot meal. I don't know if you've been eating enough. Have you been eating enough?
Yeah, no, it would be good to see you, Mom, for sure. Of course. I'm eating plenty. I'm probably eating more than a normal person would, but I don't think anyone minds. No, it would be good to see you, Mom.
The woman speaking to you on the phone right now is Meg White, and you hear your other mom, Tissy, kind of in the background, say, "Hey, make sure to tell them that I'm making tuna fish sandwiches, and they're gonna be good this time."
I heard that. Tell her I trust her and I love her, and we'll see. Yeah, and also this is probably seems a little bit weird, but I think the moms are used to this. This is Rabbit's personality and like speaking style, but definitely through Sage's voice. So it is not the vocal timbre that Rabbit usually uses with them, but obviously not the like detached speaking style that Sage would use. Yeah, I can come by. Is Cold gonna? You said she wants to talk to me. Is that gonna be one of those like alone one-on-one things, or are y'all gonna be there?
Well, we don't know. She didn't really tell us, but probably one of the one-on-one things. If I had to guess, probably just one of those.
Sure. Yeah. No, I can come home. Sage has to finish it.
Tell Rabbit that it's gonna be okay. Cold seemed like she's in a good mood. It's not gonna be one of those. This is your third mom, Alec. Did you hear your mom?
I heard it. Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Sage has to finish a shift. So I want to make sure that I'm reliable here. And then I'll rush on home.
Okay, all right.
What? No. I'm serious. I like this job.
Sure, finish a shift. You don't have to tell us what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you about when I come home then. Do you want me to bring anything? Pick anything up on the way home? Stop by anywhere? This is almost a code for like, is there like a gig I forgot about? Is there a door that needs unlocking? Is there a car that needs booting?
Right. Meg says, "Oh no. Just yourself. Just your bright shining personality."
Okay, my bright shining self. I'll get that prepared too then.
Okay. Well, we love you.
Love you too. Love you. All right. I'll see you in a few. Thanks, Moms.
Does Rabbit do anything to prepare for this meeting with Cold?
Yeah, I think so Cold, I think, is a sort of not necessarily a sinister presence in Rabbit's life, but definitely not a comforting one. I think that when Cold has come into Rabbit's life, it has been connected to the more challenging things that they've been asked to do.
Right.
And when speaking with Cold, Rabbit definitely always feels like... So Rabbit's never been clear on what he's here for. Like why he was created or brought to this world by the Coven.
Right.
But when he talks to Cold, he can feel the presence of that meaning without really any more clarity. So there's like this pressure on him, I think, especially when Cold is around. And on top of that, I think she also has that presence of like a grandmother who hasn't been around very often. So when she is, there's that also personal pressure to like, you know, make them proud and make them proud for your parents or whatever. So there's a lot of pressure on Rabbit basically to go and meet with Cold. So I think he's going to need some time just to kind of mentally prepare. And also he's going to want to change back into his like moon demon form, which we would recognize as Rabbit.
Before you do that, let's pause and talk a little bit, because obviously this is the first episode. People may not have listened to the character vignettes. Let's talk a little bit about Rabbit's situation just briefly.
Sure. Yeah. So the coven is a coven of 13 witches who are specially oriented to moon magic and rituals involving the moon. They're I guess de facto leader. I don't know that there's like an official hierarchy, but at least the woman who has like, I think, taken a lot of initiative and who many of them look up to is Cold Moon. Each of them has a primary name that is one of the full moons, basically. They also all will have like an operating name if they do interact with the public, but some of them just don't interact with the public and most of them avoid it.
Yeah, the way you pitched this to me originally is like within the coven itself, they all only refer to each other as the moon names, which are, for the record, wolf, snow, worm, pink, flower, strawberry, buck, sturgeon, corn, hunter, beaver, and cold. They all do have names they were born with. And some of them choose to like continue using those names. Some of them just use the names that they've gotten from the coven in public. So for instance, Buck. Buck's given name was Aston Kurt, but Buck just goes by Buck. Buck just goes by Buck Kurt.
And in the coven context, I also think of Moon as a surname, but that is really a private thing. This is a secret coven for sure. Even if like they're aware of other witches in the world, they try to keep it very much contained to these 13. I guess now it's 13 with Rabbit.
Yeah, it's 13 with you. And Cold, her given name was Rosa Kalyani. And she was the second black woman in space in this world. She was an astronaut. She went up with the space shuttle in the early 2000s and then has since retired and moved back to where she was born, which is Norfork. But she has done a lot of advocacy for like getting the US to continue its space missions. And specifically, her public-facing role is as a proponent of further missions to the moon. But privately, she is the, like you said, sort of unofficial leader of this lunar coven that Rabbit was born into.
And it's interesting that she would have gone to space like early 2000s because that's about when Rabbit like kind of came to sentience. Slash was born, because if we're playing in 2022 right now, I basically have determined that Rabbit has his first memory was 30 years ago, but those first 2 years of memories were like he was like baby, like first few months of being a baby in terms of like his ability to process things and have communication with anyone. And then he spent 3 years as like a fully intelligent, fully sentient, still baby, because he basically was like stuck in the form that the coven brought him into the world as. And for the last 25 years is when he's been able to like really do all of his like persona building and stuff and go out and like build relationships with people as these different appearances and kind of build his own sense of self. So he's like 25 years old, which means that he basically came to that point in his life around the time that Cold was leaving. So he probably hasn't known Cold for most of his life, it seems like.
I should be clear. Cold's last mission to space was in like 2001.
Okay.
Her first mission to space was a couple of years earlier.
Sure.
So like basically...
Okay, so would she have been like back on Earth still for like the last 20 or so years? Or was this like a long trip to the moon in 2001?
No. She has never been to the moon. She has only been on the space shuttle.
Okay, gotcha.
But she went to space for the first time probably around 95, like very similar to the timeline of Rabbit being here, because she is one of the ones who advocated for Rabbit's personhood, creation, summoning, whatever you want to call it. Like she was one of the driving motivations behind the reason that Rabbit is here. Even though she is not Rabbit's like close family.
Yeah, primary caregiver or anything. That's the three moms, yeah.
She was a big advocate for like the process that brought Rabbit into being.
Yeah, like Rabbit kind of has 12 moms of varying genders with the entire coven.
Right.
Although, like, mostly the extended family, I think he more thinks of as like cousins. And that's how he'll describe them if they happen to be in the same place and anyone asks. But I also think, hearing that, I think that Cold is probably also something of a maternal figure in his mind, as is the moon itself, like the celestial body. I think he has a very complicated, undefined relationship with the moon as like that of parentage, because in his mind he couldn't exist without the moon, but he doesn't know what that means exactly. So it's very Steven Universe. Rose Quartz is kind of one thing I'm pulling from, like early. I've only seen season 1, so like early season 1 Steven Universe. But
and I think the coven has not done anything to dissuade that thinking. I think they have told you are of the moon, and you, like, we owe you to the moon, and we also owe like everything to the moon. There is some element of kind of lunar worship to the coven. Is there anything you do to prepare other than turning back into your more demonic form, which I definitely want you to describe because it's sick.
I will totally do that. I guess first to clarify, so we have, I guess I'll read this move for changing between appearances, which is what's going to happen. So They're All Me is the move I'm invoking here. Define 3 starting appearances with the Keeper. Rabbit, Moon, the Demon Boy, and Sage are 2 that we've met so far. You can become all 3 at any given time, but the transformation is slow and unseemly. If you try to transform rapidly, roll plus cool. On a 10 plus, you do it no problem. On a 7 to 9, pick 2 from the list below. The others are false. On a miss, something goes wrong. So I wanted to clarify with the slow and unseemly, because we hadn't really put like a parameter on that. And I imagine it's going to be situational, because I think the spirit of it is I shouldn't be able to do it in a turn necessarily. But I would like, I mean, is that something where I could do it if I take like, 5 to 10 minutes or whatever in private to like, because I imagine slow and unseemly, like you can tell I'm transforming and it's like gross and weird. And I don't want people to see me do that because it's gross and weird. And also it gives away my secret. But is this something that I could like take an extended bathroom break or something?
I don't think so. Okay. I think my conception of slow and unseemly, because of the way we've written the move and because like I also am interested in situations where Rabbit is kind of forced to choose whether they want to transform or whether they're just going to stick it out in their current appearance.
Yeah. My
conception of it is at least an hour or an hour and a half.
I think that feels right. Like I feel like doing 1+ hours, maybe depending on like honestly how much Rabbit's able to focus on it. Like if he's under a lot of stress right now, it might be harder. Maybe it's easier if he's being hit by direct moonlight. But either way, that works great for me because I would just like to spend the next a couple hours basically, turning back into demon mode before I go back home. So Sage had just left the bar, walked straight to the back, hadn't said anything to anybody, had left her coworker finishing the game of Joust. Is Rabbit pretty confident that he's not being watched right now? Like, should I roll for that?
Let's make a roll. Let's make our first roll of the season. Roll me plus sharp.
Plus sharp. All right. That is an 8, and I think my sharp is 2. It is. So that is a 10.
So when you look around and read a bad situation, roll plus sharp. On a 10 plus, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 1. One hold can be spent to ask the Keeper one of the following questions. What's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's most vulnerable to me? And what's the best way to protect the victims? If you act on the answers, you get +1 ongoing while the information is relevant. I also am amending this just slightly. If you want to ask me a general question that is not on this list, I'm going to say you can do that for 1 hold. If you want to ask a specific question that's not on this list, you can ask that for 2 hold.
Okay, cool. I think I'm going to, if I were to ask, are there any dangers I haven't noticed? I think I'm going to start with that. Yeah. Any dangers I haven't noticed, especially in my physical surroundings right now?
No.
Then I would like to ask, what's my best way out of the alley?
Good question. Are you trying to not get seen by your coworkers?
I'm trying to not get seen by anybody, I think, right now.
Okay. There is a chain link fence at the back of the alley with kind of like slats kind of along it on the opposite side from you. If you climb over the chain link fence, you know that alley kind of like turns into a space between some buildings that almost never gets used.
Okay. Cool. I guess, what's the biggest threat? What's the closest to a danger I haven't noticed or maybe have?
It's probably, you know what? It's probably just your coworker.
That's true, because she's probably going to look for me at some point.
She pops her head out the back door.
I put the phone, I take out fucking Sage's phone and hold it to my head and just like hold up with one hand like 1 second.
Okay, and she like gives like raises her eyebrows at you and gives you a look, but then pokes her head back in.
Okay, cool. I think given that she has already seen Sage out here, Sage is gonna walk in, gonna wait like 20 seconds or so, and walk in to the bar again. Walk past Raina and be like, "Sorry, Raina, got a call, gotta go," and walks out the front door. And she's gonna start walking home. I think I'm just gonna go relatively straight home. The Sage won't like approach the house if anyone sees her do it, just because Sage doesn't know the Moon family officially. So I think she's gonna like go around to the backyard. That's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna go around to the backyard. I had mentioned that there's like I wanted the Moon house to be at least near like a big field, basically, where they can do moon rituals. So I'm gonna go there. I call it the backyard, but it might not be on lot. And
it is literally just an empty, undeveloped lot.
Cool. Relatively confident that no one's around because that's the kind of place this is. Going to transform back into Moon Rabbit. Rabbit Moon.
Yeah, what do they look like?
So Rabbit in Rabbit Moon form has blue skin. Definitely very much looks non-human, but is obviously but it's still like humanoid.
Yeah.
Demon boy. Blue demon boy. Moon demon boy. So he has got a couple of horns that are shaped like crescent moons with the tips of each crescent moon kind of going towards the outside and back of the head. So they kind of loop around towards the middle. He has a head of fluffy white hair that kind of droops down in the middle in sort of like a curly devil lock and also down on the sides. Other than it's pretty short and just kind of like just enough to sort of grab and scruff at the back of his head. And he's usually wearing like whites and grays. His hair is also very white. His skin is a very like nice midnight blue. And in this form, he has just like glowing white necklace. Basically, people usually will see him with that in this form. He also has those big white round glasses and big white round eyes. A few fangs. I mean, obviously, like I don't know that his appearance is always going to be exactly the same in this form, but those are the elements you might see on him and would see on him right now. And you notice with his necklace that like that centerpiece of a crescent moon is almost like swaying and like almost like dancing a little bit, absent of Rabbit's movements or any wind or anything.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you, like, we don't need to talk about the transformation process or anything like that, other than the fact that just like...
It's slow and unseemly.
Rabbit is open about being a demon boy. The thing that Rabbit is not open about is the transformation between forms. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So like he definitely has like friends and relationships as Rabbit Moon. But I think he just tells them that he was born to a family out of town. I think, and he never knew his real parents, and he has some weird magical abilities. He can move things with his mind, he tells people. And I think there's also a lot of rumors about Rabbit that he doesn't do much to dissuade because he's happy to muddy the waters around what he can do.
Yeah. So you walk inside and Cold, Rosa Kalyani, is sitting at the dinner table talking to one of your moms. Which one is it?
I think she's talking to TC or Tissy.
Okay. Rosa is kind of like throwing her head back, like laughing a little bit, clearly getting along well.
What did we call Tissy's moon name? Do you remember?
Tissy is Hunter.
Hunter Moon.
Meg is Wolf. Tissy is Hunter. And yeah, Alec is Snow. So Cold says, Hunter, you crack me up. Let me describe Rosa real quick. She is a slightly older black woman with short, like kind of spongy black hair. It is kept very short, kind of in a almost military style. I think she still carries a lot of the like physical training of being an astronaut with her. And so it is a little bit like imposing and is very like physically fit looking. Also like quite tall.
Oh, yeah. Rabbit's also not tall. He's a manlet for sure.
She kind of puts her arm over her chair as she sees you come in and looks over her shoulder and says, Rabbit, it's good to see you.
Hi, Cold. It's good to see you, too. Sorry I wasn't here earlier. I was at work. One of my fun jobs. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Would you mind if and she kind of motions down the hallway.
Yeah, Rabbit kind of looks at Hunter.
TC kind of gives you a nod and like a smile and says, "Tuna fish will be ready soon."
Okay, yeah, we'll just give my mom a hug quick. And Rabbit does, and just like as the embrace comes to a close, just whispers in her ear, "I'm gonna be okay. I love you."
Cold does not wait for you. She walks down the hallway and into one of the rooms. She like knows this house very well. She's been here many times, but also the way that she does this makes it seem like she owns the place.
Right, totally. Rabbit kind of looks at her and does like a kind of joking smirk at his mom and is just like, "Wow, Cold, huh?" And then he turns and goes to follow her.
You walk into the room behind her. Cold is sitting. This is like a guest bedroom. I think maybe Rabbit has spent nights here when they want to be home near their family.
Yeah.
And she is like sitting on the edge of the bed, and she gestures for you to close the door.
Yeah, Rabbit closes the door and then just kind of stands there watching and waiting. He has a very like student waiting for instruction from the mentor kind of vibe when he's alone with Cold.
How have your skills been progressing, Rabbit?
Oh, pretty good. Not too bad. Just throwing stuff around and catching things and making things spin and all that. I think maybe Moat's been coming along a little faster than I have, but I've been doing my best for sure.
Would you give me a demonstration?
In here, it's a little bit. I'd be happy to, ma'am Cold. Of course, I just it can be a little destructive. So just I guess you'll.
She pulls something. She like reaches in. I think she's wearing like kind of a coat. Even though it's hot, like she is like wearing this kind of like, elegant kind of coat. And she reaches into the pocket and pulls out a little cube of metal. It looks like it's like shiny, and she sets it down. And it's like, you can tell just by the sound it makes as she like sets it on the ground that it has a significant heft to it. And she says, "Can you lift it?"
Oh, I'll try. I think I can. And Rabbit kind of furrows his brow and like he holds out a hand towards it, and he's never been sure if this is necessary, if it just helps him focus on what he's trying to do. And he kind of tries for a little bit, and I think maybe it might nudge. We're not quite sure. There's like but he's like, I don't know. Can I have a second?
Of course, Rabbit.
And he just kind of like turns his back, and he takes off his glowing necklace. And holds it in his hand. It does kind of like float off his hand for a second and then start to go into itself and become just this ball, pretty small ball of like glowing light. He's like, "All right, Moat, I'm gonna need you on this one again." He kind of tosses it up and catches it like a juggling ball. And then this ball of light kind of like moves side to side in front of his face and kind of bonks him on the head and then goes back into his hand. "Okay, I'm ready." And he turns back around, just kind of like moving this ball between his hands and around. Like this light, it seems like he has a lot of control over or some dynamic with. And now I'm going to try to move that cube actually with my roll.
So you are using an alternative weird move.
Correct.
One of the alternative weird moves from the Tome of Mysteries expansion, which is called telekinesis. We've flavored it a little bit to be more like gravity magic, basically.
But it's really going to be as written otherwise, unless I change my mind. But
it reads, when you fling something with your mind, roll plus weird. On a 10 or more, you move it. Choose 2 options from the list below and mark 1 harm. On a 7 to 9, you move it, but it hurts. Choose 1 option and mark 2 harm. On a miss, something goes horribly wrong. By default, you can move something smaller than a person. You don't have much control, and you can't move it strongly enough to hurt anything. The options are something is held fast, something is hurt, something catches fire, you can fling something bigger than a person, you keep it basically under your control, or you suffer 1 less harm.
So this is something that, so that if I'm understanding, the default is that I can move things smaller than a person in general, or is that like with the roll can move things smaller than a person? I want to find
I think it is in general with this roll.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And what was, and so this is probably, I'm assuming then, denser than a person, though it is smaller. So the mass is gonna, okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna roll, and this is also fun. This is a very conscious choice for me, but I gave Rabbit a +0 in weird. Because gravity magic, though it is what the Coven basically like brought him into the world for and has mostly trained him in, he's not great at it. The shapeshifting is more what comes naturally to him, and that was a surprise. So, oh my god! I rolled 2 6s for a total of 12.
Okay,
plus
great.
0 with weird.
So on a 10 or more, you move it. Choose 2 options and mark 1 harm. So which options
I forgot
are
I
you choosing?
mark harm no matter what with this. That was why I wanted to take that armor.
So your options are something is held fast, something is hurt, which is 2 harm smash, something catches fire, you can fling something bigger than a person, you keep it basically under your control, or you suffer 1 less harm.
Okay, so this is bigger than a person, so I have to choose that one to move it, right? Or to fling it?
Yes, you do.
I'm going to do that one, and... Oh, you know what? I'm going to suffer 1 less harm. I forgot that was an option. So I'm just I'm going to not be hurt by this, and whatever else happens, happens. Anything not picked is true. Anything at all. That's great.
So you're able to lift it pretty easily. It's a little bit shaky as it kind of rises into the air, but for the most part, it is very solid. You're like getting a little confident with it, so you're kind of like almost passing it back and forth between your hands or like in front of your hands.
Do an old juggling routine with the cube and the
exactly.
The ball.
And then it starts like it's almost like it starts orbiting, but it starts orbiting like in the air, something you can't see. And that orbit is getting wider and wider and wider, and Moon ducks as it embeds itself in the wall. And you hear your mom's like run down the hall, and there's a knock at the door.
It's okay. It's just a demonstration. Just a demonstration for Ma'am Cold. Sorry,
okay.
I'm so sorry. He like opens the door.
It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
I think everything's okay. I don't think I broke anything that can't be fixed. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, honey. And they close the door again. Cold is standing now, and the look she's giving you isn't disapproval. She's not giving you anything. She's not giving you any praise, and she's not admonishing you. She's just looking at you. And she reaches into her coat again and takes out a letter, a sealed envelope. And she says, I need you to deliver this to the address written on the front. Make sure the person inside gets it. He's a shorter man, orange curly hair. You'll know him when you see him.
Okay. Any notes, I guess, on my my performance there with the very heavy cube?
She looks at you and reaches up and pulls the thing out of the wall. And she says, no.
Okay.
And then she walks out of the room. Where is Nammi usually on a Saturday?
In the morning?
In the morning.
She would start her day getting ready in her room in the basement of Hothouse Flowers.
Okay.
And she would be playing some nightcore music on full blast.
Okay.
And she's sort of just dancing around, putting her makeup on, getting ready for a shift, even though it's a short shift, usually on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But she has to get ready, so.
Today especially, it is going to be a short shift, but you know you have a lot of work to do because there are several weddings that have contracted Hothouse Flowers to do their wedding flowers. So you know that needs to get done today because most of the weddings are early next week. And there's one of them that's actually tomorrow that they were kind of keeping things a little, it was a little last minute, but they were insistent on the flowers being fresh and they wanted to kind of pick them up as close to the deadline as possible. Will you tell us what Nammi looks like?
Yeah, Nammi is a very petite woman, 24-ish looking. Mm-hmm. She is like 5'3", 5'4", and she has very long, fluffy pink hair that is natural, lavender eyes, very, very pale skin, but she always has like a lot of blush on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, and she's wearing sort of like a shirt that looks like you might wear it to the club, but it's like kind of like a chainmail vibe top and is in rose gold, a very flowy skirt with a pattern on it. And like, a lot of necklaces and stuff hanging down as well.
Love
like
it.
Chokers mostly. Yeah.
Love it. Great. Well, you make your way upstairs after you finish getting ready. There is no one else in the shop, but that is not unusual for you. The person who owns the shop, whose name is Heather, is an older woman who basically hired you on because she is not really able to manage the shop anymore. She still wants to own it. She still wants it to continue, but she has been working this shop for a long, long time. And she's finally at the age where she kind of wants to retire and mostly just kind of manage it. But you are also the only other employee. So most days it is just you in here unless Heather decides to stop by.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do first? I mean, like, you have these weddings to prepare for. Like, are you pulling flowers? Are you growing things? What's first on the agenda?
I am going to start the process of growing some stuff, some of the specialized flowers maybe that need to get done for next week. And then I'm going to start picking flowers up for the arrangements and start that process.
When does your shift normally end?
On a weekday, probably around 5. And on a weekend, I would say probably around 2.
2. Okay, great. Then you're going to have some time after you finish this before you're supposed to meet up with your friends Rabbit and Kelly.
Right.
So you are sort of working through these flower preparations. When is the person that is doing their Sunday thing supposed to pick up their flowers?
I would probably say towards the end of the day so that the flowers are still as fresh as possible for when they come and grab them. So
yeah,
around 2. Yeah.
Okay. It's 2 p.m.
Okay.
They are not here.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Do I have their phone number anywhere?
You do. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to call them.
The line rings several times, and then you hear a automated voice box that someone was kind of rushing to set up, and it just says, beep, hi, I'm E01. If you need to leave me a message, go ahead and do that. Bye.
Hi, it's Nammi from Hothouse Flowers. I'm just calling because we have your order to pick up and we're a little concerned because we're about to close. Anyway, I hope everything's going well and I hope your special day is going beautifully and everything is fine. I just want to make sure you come by soon, okay? Oh, beep.
Nammi, how long do you wait?
I will wait an hour.
You have not received a call back, and no one has come to pick up the flowers.
I think Nammi at that point might try to get some advice from Heather if possible.
I think Heather, you have Heather's number, and you maybe sent her off a text asking what to do, best practices. And she texts you back. I think she's I'm picturing her in her 70s, but she is surprisingly technologically adept. She still has the thing of texting back with full grammar. So capitalizing every, sentence start and putting a period after every sentence. There's no unended sentence with a ha, but she's very good at texting. And she texts you back and says, if they're not here and you've left a message, you should close shop. You should close up shop. Maybe leave another message with your phone number just in case they can come by later this evening. But otherwise, they'll have to pick things up tomorrow morning.
Nammi sort of slaps herself in the forehead. Oh my gosh, I forgot to give them my phone number. Ugh. She calls again.
Hi, this is E01. If you need to leave a message, just go ahead and do that. Beep.
Hi, this is Nammi again from Hothouse Flowers. This is the number that you can call. It's 555-555-55555. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Nammi, do you wait any longer?
No, I think I'm going to lock up shop.
Okay, great. That's good because it's getting very, very close to the time that you are supposed to meet up with your friends. So all 3 of you, where are you meeting?
Abandoned building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, do we have an abandoned building, or are we touring
It is
abandoned buildings, sort of?
I picture a floor where it's because it's a building that's being built. It's kind of like the skyscraper at the Divot, where it's it is functionally like there. They just haven't moved into it yet. Maybe they're wrapping up a few things. But I
Sure.
picture a floor of a building that has been built that isn't being put to use yet. Maybe it's not completely done, where you see those like clear plastic curtains kind of like around, and there's still like debris all over the floor and stuff. And then we have like a corner where we have, I don't know, like soda bottles that are lined up like bowling pins, and we.
So I like to imagine that we have sort of a bit of a moving hangout, because we'll like basically be here for as long as we possibly can, either until we get kicked out or the place is finished.
Oh, sure,
and maybe
yeah.
This is like the second or even third of like building we've had to rotate to, but we always set it up kind of the same.
Yes.
So it's like we make our home where we can find it, basically.
Yeah. Which one of you is the last to arrive?
I will say that I dip out of work early and like meet up with Nammi at like as she's closing shop.
Cool. Okay. And you guys maybe walk together to by the way, because of the way playbooks worked out, Rabbit is the only one who owns a means of transportation.
Oh yeah, I do. So can I pick them up right now?
If you want to, yeah, absolutely. But what I was just going to say that means is Kelly and Nammi, y'all either walk or take public transportation. Like, you do not have a car.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
God, I'm trying to decide. I'm gonna just make this just a for myself role to see, because I in my mind Rabbit is so he's unreliable, but that doesn't mean that he is flaky. Sometimes he will be, but I think that he will also, like, when it comes to his, like, really his two friends, the two people who I think know him best, he probably tries to be a little bit more reliable and on time and stuff. So I'm basically gonna roll to decide if Rabbit actually got there early, to just assuming he would see his friends right away, or if he's gonna also be a little bit late and like driving down the road as they're like walking.
Great.
While you're doing that, I also wanted to explain, like, because you're supposed to close at 2. Probably doing all of the close up shop stuff might take until like 3. Kelly had like come at 3, ready to just like grab you and go. So I think for the entire time that you're actually closing up shop, the way I picture it is Kelly is like following you around, and then I don't know, like you're like just spraying down the floors, or like you're doing some last minute things, and Kelly is just like grabbed a doorway and is like doing pull-ups or something, like just using the frame, and the frame alone is just like doing pull-ups while you're chatting and stuff. Like any instance of like stationary behavior is absent from Kelly's being.
Absolutely. Cool. And I want to make it very clear, the entire time I'm working, Nightcore is playing.
Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Great.
So some high pitched voices very fast. Yeah, all about it.
Yeah.
So does Rabbit arrive on time?
I rolled a 7, which was 7 or higher for he runs into them on the way.
Okay, great.
So I would love a moment of like you two walking to our hangout spot together once stuff is finally closed.
Yeah, and then like there was 2 of them at the door, and they were just like, hey, you know, we and this, okay, listen to this, Nammi. You're not gonna believe this. So you know that the girl, the woman that I've been hooking up with, the liaison from the city.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say she's a rat, but she kind of ratted me out. She like, yeah. So they knew about me. They like came to contact me because she was like, oh, Kelly, he's gonna be so good. He wants to be a part of your task force or whatever.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say I told you so, Kelly, but
okay, well, it sounds like you're gearing up to say I told you so.
I did say that, you know, I didn't think you guys were like a great match.
I'm not saying we were a great match, but she's a great, you know, not to be crude. Oh, wait.
Hop in, hop on. And Rabbit leans over off the side of his motorcycle, his sick hog. And my question for the two, he has a motorcycle. I chose motorcycle and motor transportation, but I did this for us. But I have to ask the two of you a question: who rides behind Rabbit and who rides in the sidecar?
Kelly is not riding in the sidecar.
Nammi goes in the sidecar.
Kelly is not riding in the sidecar.
So yeah, he says, hop in, hop on.
Okay.
You can walk. Walking's fine. You look cool walking. I can get the place set up.
Well, I don't know. With your timeliness, maybe I'll get there before you.
But I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
all right,
I'm
all right.
All right. No, he starts the engine again. But you hopping?
Kelly climbs on, and
Cool.
and definitely gets close.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then Nammi hops in the sidecar.
Cool. The other question I have for Rabbit's two best friends: can you keep a secret?
Yeah. Well, can
Yeah.
I?
Like Kelly,
Yeah.
Kelly, I don't really need to ask Kelly.
Kelly keep a secret?
Obviously, Kelly can keep a secret. Is Nammi one who can keep a secret?
Nammi is known as a person that people go to with relationship problems in the town, so she knows. Yeah, and she doesn't spread everyone's business. So.
Okay, so it's reasonable that Rabbit would have ascertained that both of you could keep the secret that he transforms into different people, basically, and has been doing that for 25 years.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I think that outside of his family, the three of us are the only ones who know. And you would also know about Moat, who is my little glowing ball of light, bestest friend from my whole time, who comes up and gives you both the little like boop on the cheek and hops back onto my necklace. Or actually, probably he's like part of the helmet right now that I take off and put on Kelly.
Thank you. I was actually going to ask for a helmet, so that's good. And since we're in the divulging stuff sort of center here, I think you both absolutely know that Kelly is the cryptid.
Cool.
Like it is
Okay,
it is
cool.
it is fully a conversation that we've had, and it's like
Awesome.
just because he was like, there's no way I'm gonna feel comfortable keeping this from you, and like if one day I just like disappear or something, I want you to know why, basically.
Yeah.
Then, as well, I think it's only fair that you guys would also know that Nammi is not from here at all, not from Earth.
Oh,
Actually.
okay, not from Earth.
Hey,
okay.
Secret time. Secrets time.
That Nammi is not from Earth and was sent here by a goddess to stop the events of the last season and failed.
Wow.
I want a hard cut to y'all in this place that you hang out. Like I'm picturing, we're looking out the like window of this place that y'all are in. There's the little bottles set up in like bowling pins in the corner. Camera is like slow pushing in as the three of you chat. What are you talking about?
So I had a dream last night.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was listening to the radio like a disc jockey. Like, you know what? It was the Norfork, the fork.
Oh, what the fork?
Yeah. What the fork? I was listening to that segment of the
I love forks.
like the utensil.
Do you want a fork, Nammi?
No, okay.
Yeah, actually, they're really fun.
Now is that an
Moat,
innuendo?
the little ball of light just kind of
What?
floats over and takes the shape of a fork. No,
anyway,
I meant quite literally.
hello, the dream.
Sorry.
That I have.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're talking about your cool dream.
It did. Well, I'm not saying it's a cool dream. I understand. Like, I'm not one to love talking about dreams and that kind of stuff because it's like, oh, you'll never believe what happened. Oh, my feet.
Well, I always appreciate
my feet
it, though,
turned
yeah.
to sand, and then I'm like, yeah, no, duh, it's a fucking dream.
Have you dreamed about that?
No, I'm getting off topic.
Not last night. I mean, like in general.
Oh, if my feet turn into sand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes my feet turn to sand. Sometimes my teeth fall out. Sometimes I fall off of a cliff and I just fall.
Where do you
forever.
think of these things, Nammi? You don't dream of this stuff, right?
I don't dream.
Yeah. No, me neither. Not really. Like I'm still trying to.
Rabbit.
So just to make sure I'm hearing. Just to make sure I'm sorry.
Come on. Okay. We can talk about other dreams in a second, but last night I had a dream listening to the disc jockey, listening to radio. We were, what the fork, whatever, questions, answer questionable answers, all that stuff. And I don't know what this means, but there was a creepy staticky voice on the other side. Like they did a call in and it was a ghost. It was like a dead woman or something. And she was like, oh, I'm dead. I'm sorry I called in and made everything awkward. And personally, I think the disc jockey did not handle this very well. Made the situation more awkward than it needed to
In
be.
your dream, right?
In the dream, yes, in my
Okay.
dream.
I'm sorry. It's still a tough concept for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, this is why I'm telling you, because it got really weird. And she was like, yeah, sorry I'm calling and making it all weird and awkward and stuff, but, you got to get out of here. If people can't be here or quit coming here, you got to leave. There's something...
Wait, is here like your dream?
No,
Like she was telling
I'm
you to leave your
about to
dream?
get. I'm trying to do some mysterious buildup.
At this point, Rabbit shares a knowing glance with Nammi. This is a bit.
So I'm doing like I'm trying to have some 3-act structure here to me telling you the tale of my dreams. So
Of course.
she's like, it's mysterious and there's something really bad going on in Norfork, and some bad stuff's about to happen, and people gotta leave and they gotta stop coming here, or at least that was my interpretation. Because at the end of it, the disc jockey was also like, "Hey, do you mean like coming to Norfork, or do you mean like?" Here, I don't know what you mean by that. And then she was gone. It was like all static. And then I felt the static in my bones. It was like in my body, and no matter how hard I was like plugging my ears, I could just hear it, and it was like it was overwhelming. It was like painful. And then I woke up to my stupid alarm.
And then you woke up.
Yeah, no, that was all in my dream. That was all in my dream, and then I woke up,
Right.
and I'm telling you about it now. Yeah,
That's cool. That's cool.
that's cool. It
I mean,
doesn't sound
yeah.
like you think it's cool.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just kind of internalizing and thinking about it because again, I don't really experience sleep thought the same way that you do.
Right. Okay.
But from what I've read and from what I've learned, I mean, that sounds to me like it represents sort of an innate paranoia and a fear of change and the unknown, especially as we see it in our physical surroundings in Norfolk. I mean, I can see a lot of your life.
Being
I've
never
distilled into
dreamed
that
anything
dream.
like that before. Don't you think it's like I'm not asking you for like a psychosynopsis here. I'm wondering if like you think it was some sort of premonition. Like maybe I'm getting maybe I'm gaining some powers of some kind. Maybe I'm getting a
You
little.
think it might have been like a future, like not really a dream, but more of like well, you said premonition.
Yeah,
that's kind of what you're thinking.
I've never.
Oh, I don't think so. No,
Okay, not even a little bit.
Do humans
I
have
don't
that
think they-
ability?
I don't think so.
Well, listen, we don't know for sure if I'm human. Like, I know it kind of seems like I'm
Well,
human and that like I can't
yeah.
really not become not human. But like,
I think
I'm holding out
here's-
hope. There's a chance. I got powers like latent inside of me.
Wait
No,
a
of
minute.
course you're powerful.
Wait a
but-
minute. This is seeming really familiar, actually. Now, the more you describe it.
Like the
Oh, yeah?
like the dream seems really familiar.
Yeah, like I feel like I also had that dream.
You had that dream?
Wait, I don't think you dreamed, Nammi.
I don't.
Wait, are you
But
fucking
you
with
had
me?
that dream?
Wait, hold on, are you fucking with me?
No, I'm
Wait,
not.
wait, Kelly, be quiet. Wait, Nammi, you don't dream, but you had the dream?
Yeah.
Huh.
Nammi and Rabbit both. You are having some really intense deja vu.
Whoa. Actually, no, wait, whoa.
I need you both to roll plus sharp.
Okay. Roll plus
Jesus.
blade.
That's not great for me.
Oof. I mean, I didn't roll horribly, and I think I sharpened my +2, right? I rolled a 3 and a 2 for 5, so that's 7.
I rolled a 10, but -1, so a 9.
Okay, for both of you, elements of what Kelly is talking about sound so familiar. You are having this like really, really intense deja vu moment where it feels like you've heard or seen or experienced exactly what Kelly is talking about, even though you both don't dream, which makes it weird because that would mean it happened to you rather than it happened in your head.
Okay, so both of you are not, having to go around with me. You're not.
No.
I definitely was, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually ringing pretty familiar, Kelly.
Yeah, but neither of you like sleep regular. You don't like dream.
No,
right?
no, this is like the kind of thing. You know how I've talked about like my first few years of memories kind of coming in and out, and like I remember bits and pieces. Like that's as close I think I've gotten to dreaming, right?
Sure.
It kind of feels like that. It's different though, because this is like something that when it happened, whenever whatever happened to me, I definitely knew about it. But like the knowledge is all fuzzy now. It's like mid-form, It's like when you're between two kind of shapes.
I listened to a lot of the radio. Maybe it just happened and you were like asleep, but you were hearing it, like in your sleep.
I mean, like
Are you sure you haven't dreamed this before?
me?
Yeah.
Before?
Maybe you've told us about it before, and that's why it seems familiar.
No, I have not dreamed this before.
Hey, Kelly, roll plus sharp.
How sharp are you, Kel?
How sharp?
Kelly is very
I'm
sharp.
pretty sharp. I got a 4 and a 4 plus 2, so I got 10.
Kelly, you, especially after having said this dream aloud, you are able to remember this dream, but you can notice the edges of your memory going a little soft. Dreams, even after you have them, most of the time you forget them, right? You wake up thinking, oh my God, I had this dream about blah, blah, blah. And then 6 hours later, you're like, what was that dream? This is not that. This is the edges of your memory beginning to winnow away.
There's definitely something going on here, because this is like, I've never remembered a dream this well before, but now like I'm trying to think about it, and it's weird. It's like it's like a memory that's like softening this. And if
That's yeah.
and if you two are experiencing something similar, do you think, should we call the DJ?
Nammi, your phone starts to ring.
Oh, maybe that's him.
Okay, Rabbit.
Hello.
I don't know. You never know.
Hi, is this Hothouse Flowers?
This is my personal phone, but I work there.
This is Ace Aruna.
Hi. Oh, right. You had flowers that you were picking up today.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to pick those up. I think my partner might be dead.
Do you need a ride somewhere, Nammi?
Okay. Are you okay?
You can hear in the background police sirens, and you can hear doors shutting. And Ace says, I have to go. I'm sorry. I'll see if I can figure out a way to pay you. I have to go.
Before they go, I'm gonna use a move.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna use my soothe move.
Okay. Will you read that for us?
Yeah, soothe, which is when you talk to someone for a few seconds in a quiet voice, you can calm them down, blocking any panic, anger, or other negative emotions they have. This works even if the things that freak them out is still present, as long as your voice can be heard.
Okay. What do you say?
Okay, sweetheart, I know that's a lot to take in. Listen, you gotta tell me what happened, so maybe we can work something out. We can get you some help. You know, we're used to working with grieving people a lot at the flower shop. Like, what's going on?
I came home from getting my suit fit, and there was a trail of blood in our house, and they're gonna think it was me.
No. You were out. There's no way that's gonna happen. You're gonna be okay.
I'm a vampire.
Hey, Nammi. Get a location.
They're gonna think it was me.
What was your address again, sweetheart?
And Ace gives you their address.
Okay. All right. Listen, you stay there. You know, well, maybe I'll come by. Sure. Well, I'll come by.
Okay.
I look at the other two like, I guess that's what. Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly's gonna like lean over to Rabbit and is like, "Hey, get me over there right now. Let's go. Let's start heading over."
Yeah.
Ace on the other end of the line says, "Okay. You're right. I'm feeling better. I'm gonna stay right here."
All right. Good.
And on the other end of the line, in the background, you hear knocking at the door. Police! Open up!